The Summary of the Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. In modern life, we are taught many ways to succeed, but we are rarely taught how to live in peace. Many people seem to have everything, yet inside they still feel tired, empty, and quietly aware of a missing piece they cannot quite name. In The Art of Happiness, His Holiness the Dalai Lama does not speak of happiness as an emotional high. Instead, he speaks of happiness as a skill of the mind, a skill that can be learned, practiced, and lived with every day. This video is not meant to make you more positive, nor does it ask you to change your life circumstances. It is simply an invitation to look again at how we are living with our own mind and to find a gentler path, right here, within the reality of everyday life. And to begin, let us return to a very fundamental question posed by the Dalai Lama. Where does happiness ultimately come from? From the outer conditions of life, or from the mind itself? Introduction. Happiness as a skill. The Art of Happiness. A practical path to living with ease in the modern world. The Dalai Lama states this simply, yet radically. The fundamental purpose of human life is to seek happiness and to avoid suffering. This is true for everyone, regardless of religion, culture, or life circumstances. We may differ in beliefs, status, or lifestyle, but at the deepest level, all human beings wish for well-being and do not wish to suffer. The key point in the Dalai Lama's approach, and the foundation of this book, is very clear. Happiness is not something that randomly falls upon us from the outside. It is an inner state that can be cultivated. Just as muscles grow stronger through training, the mind can also be trained to become steadier, more open, and more at ease. This book is the result of many years of dialogue between the Dalai Lama and psychiatrist Howard Cutler. Its purpose is not to promote religion, but to offer a practical path that can be applied in daily life, regardless of who you are. Part 1. The Purpose of Life. The Right to Happiness. Happiness is a natural human right, not because we deserve it, nor because we have achieved something, but simply because we are human. Yet many people live as if happiness were a reward for success, wealth, or the approval of others. One of the most common misconceptions is the belief that if we change our external circumstances, have more money, better relationships, higher status, then we will be happy. In reality, circumstances play only a secondary role. Once basic needs are met, happiness depends primarily on the state of the mind, on how we think, how we interpret experiences, and how we respond to life. Part 2. Training the Mind, the Foundation of Lasting Happiness. Buddhism has long emphasized the training of the mind. Today, modern neuroscience confirms this insight. The human brain is plastic, meaning its structure and function can change according to our habitual patterns of thought and emotion. If we constantly cultivate anxiety, anger, and stress, the brain becomes accustomed to those states. If we regularly practice mindfulness, gratitude, and compassion, the brain gradually becomes more stable and positive. Therefore, happiness is not a random emotion that comes and goes. Happiness is the result of consistent daily training. According to the Dalai Lama, the deepest nature of the mind is clear and peaceful. Negative emotions such as anger, fear, or jealousy are not the essence of the mind. They are temporary states, sustained by habit and mistaken perception. Thus, our task is not to create happiness from nothing, but to gently remove the layers that obscure the mind, allowing it to return to its natural state. Part 3. Human Warmth, Compassion as the Key to Happiness. Personal happiness and compassion cannot be separated. Many people believe that caring for others will cause them to lose something. Scientific research shows the opposite. Those who live altruistically and help others tend to be happier, healthier, and live longer. Compassion is not weakness or sentimentality. It is the ability to place ourselves in another's position and to genuinely wish to reduce their suffering. In modern society, loneliness is a major source of unhappiness. The feeling of separation is largely an illusion. When we open our hearts and care for others, the mind naturally expands, and personal worries no longer occupy the entire inner space. Part 4. Transforming Suffering. Not avoiding it, but learning to see differently. Life cannot be free of suffering. Illness, loss, failure, and separation are unavoidable. The Dalai Lama does not promise a life without pain. He points instead to what truly matters: how we relate to suffering. Suffering becomes heavier when we resist reality or identify ourselves entirely with our pain. Much of our suffering does not come from events themselves, but from how we interpret them. When perspective changes, the intensity of suffering can lessen, even when circumstances remain the same. Part 5. Overcoming Inner Obstacles. Anger may bring a sense of power in the moment, but in the long run it destroys both others and ourselves. Anger rarely solves problems. More often, it makes them worse. Practicing patience and understanding is not because others deserve it, but because our own peace depends on it. Anxiety and low self-worth are silent enemies of happiness. They often arise from exaggerating the future and judging ourselves by external standards. Healthy self-respect comes from a correct understanding of human value, that everyone has the capacity to grow and change. Part 6. Living a Spiritual Life in the Modern World. A happy life does not necessarily require religion, but it does require universal spiritual values. These include compassion, responsibility toward others, and honesty with oneself. True happiness does not come from having more and more, but from living more rightly, more deeply, and more connected to life. Happiness is not a distant destination. Happiness is a path, walked each day through every thought, every word, and every action.
Thank you for watching. If this content resonated with you, the creator, Mr. Thie would appreciate your likes and comments, which help this reach more people who might find it useful.